happy Tuesday. Hope you've had a great day so far. I'm super excited to have Dr. Matthew Antonelli with me today. So, Dr. Matt, thanks for joining me.
You're
And
welcome.
he doesn't even know some of what I'm going to say. I've had the pleasure over the last 23 years coaching a lot of chiropractors, students, new doctors, seasoned doctors, and there's some people who just really stand out. And I have to say that Dr. Matthew is one of them. I'm not sure if it's in part his story of where he came from, if it's his drive and his determination and his love for humanity, love for being a business owner. I know that he's madly in love with his wife, and I always think that that is a super cool attribute that anyone possesses as well. One of the things I will tell you is that Dr. Matt is a man on purpose, and one of the things that I see is different about individuals who are on purpose is that there's an energy about them. There's a frequency about them that in their business, they're not just looking for bits and pieces to pull together. It's this whole orchestration because of the impact that they are determined to have on their community, that they really see that their practice isn't a job, it's a calling. And they're like just like pulled forth. They can't even help themselves of being pulled forth to continue to grow, to continue to serve, to maximize and look at ways that they can make an impact. And that really does summarize Dr. Matt. So how'd you like that for an intro?
That was phenomenal. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's just like back up for those who don't know you yet. Give us the story of how you got here and what's happening in your practice.
From when I first opened up or prior to that?
Yeah, let's start with your background in like growing up, because I think that you have an amazing story. And one of the things I love about your story is that it's not like most people's, right?
Huh. Yeah,
And it also really speaks to, it doesn't matter where you started.
it's
It
true.
matters where we are now. So let's start there.
Yeah, I know some people in here might have heard the story before, but yeah, growing up, I was in a rough situation, of family, parents wise. They end up getting divorced. We had nowhere to live. So pretty much most of my teenage years, I lived out of my car between like best friend's house and family's houses, hopping back and forth until I decided really it was one of those situations where I gotta find out, go to the military or get into school. And I was not doing good in school for everything that was going on back then. Like I hated high school, and I happened to get into one of the SUNY schools. I took off and I just kept going. And I saw a chiropractor when I was younger. I was about 12 or 13 years old from a fall I had when I was 8 years old. And that was always in the back of my head of I wanted to do this because I loved it. I loved going there. He knew my family situation. He never charged me my copay. He just let me go for free, which was like a huge blessing for me. But I always had in the back of my head from where I came from is I can't attain that. Like, how can I ever go to school to do that? Like, I was never fortunate enough. I was never smart enough, blah, blah, blah. And as I went along with my undergraduate in kinesiology, doors opened up and I did 2 internships that led me down the path of and some people may know, I know you know, one of them was with Dr. Schaub, Timothy Schaub in Cortland. And that is a wonderful man. He's like a father to me. And he's just the one, him and his wife, Dawn, just open up the floodgates. Like, you got to do this. This is your calling. And yeah, ended up getting into school. And that was a big jump and scary as hell, honestly, to go through.
Yeah.
But like anything else, you surpass it. You just write down your goals, determination, you get through. And then I moved down to North Carolina. I'm originally from New York. And yeah, I was here for 6 years now. I was at 3 different offices, and I hopped there. My first office was really, really good. I grew really fast in 2 years, and I had unfortunate events at each one. I learned things that I liked. I learned things that I hated, and a lot of them were doing illegal billing, and I wanted nothing to do with it. I don't want anything. I don't want any darkness behind me. I want to sleep at night, know I'm doing the right thing, and help people out. And the offices I was at, the patients even knew. So a lot of them followed me for all 3 offices until I opened my own. So opening the floodgates to a little over 2 years ago to we open our own, I had a great following right off the bat, just from being in the area for 4 years prior. And yeah, you are that next big person in my life that I met to rip off that Band-Aid to take the leap, just like going to school and then going to chiropractic school. I always had somebody intervention wise subconsciously that helped me get over that barrier. And I was petrified to open my own office. And I mean, you were that stone cold person I needed on that phone call. You're like, just do it. What are you waiting for? You know? And my wife was sitting next to me, just like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're gonna do this right now? And I'm like, she said I have to. We got to do it. And yeah, the rest is history. We grew right through the past 2.5 years, and we're in a completely different world than we were in 2 years ago.
And where are you now? Let's talk numbers. So you've been in practice 2.5 years. You're in North Carolina, which is definitely I wouldn't call North Carolina a free state in terms of mandates and whatnot. So it hasn't there've been challenges over these last 2.5 years. And
Yeah.
how's your business?
Business is great. Yeah, definitely the States is not my favorite in terms of politics. However, the only and one thing I do like about Cooper here is that he did like make us essential workers. So we were still open. My wife got shut down for a little bit for massage therapy. She works in our office too. So she was, I think, out for a month or two before they could come back. But actually helped me a lot being essential. We were open. We had just April when everyone was trying to figure out what was going on. We
Yeah.
slowed down for that month. And then I had people coming in off the street because the ERs were kicking everybody out. You know, the majority of people that go to the ER have some type of musculoskeletal pain. So I had people walking off the street and they're like, I just went to the ER, my back hurts. They kicked me out. I'm like, well, of course, and glad you came here. So you didn't go down the whole, medicine route of muscle relaxant, anti-inflammatory, and just sit at home till it goes away. So it actually, throughout the whole summer, we doubled the office, and from pretty much May to July, August.
That's so awesome. And Matt, how did they know about you? How did they know that you were the chiropractor who could help them? Like, you guys have done a phenomenal job, like really just saturating your community with the chiropractic message and with your unique branding. What has been so instrumental that has made it that you have like a waiting list practice?
Like you were saying before, I really do love helping people and I love to educate people. So my patients, I do try to explain everything that's going on with them, whether it's just individually or globally. We're pretty big on Facebook and educating our patients too. So I really favor referrals in our office. And as I know you do as well. So we have our protocol we go through from the CA and my parts on how to initiate that conversation throughout the first and second visit and so on and so forth. To get referrals from like friends and family members. We write their name on a whiteboard, like a big 6-foot whiteboard when they come in the door. We like the setting and it feels, everyone tells us they feel better walking through the door before they even get into my room. And that's what we want. So people automatically love sending people in to see us. So really even online marketing, I think in the 2.5 years, we spent maybe $350 on marketing because we don't need to, because we do it all in-house subconsciously. Well,
And you're very intentional though. Like, you guys are running referral systems. And what do you say to? I had someone say to me today, well, yeah, I mean, I'd like to have more referrals, but I don't want to have to have like a cheesy sales script, and that's all I know about referrals. What would you say to that person?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be cheesy because I don't like that either. I don't want to be a salesperson for anything. Like, I deal with supplements in the office too, but I don't have 6,000 supplements on the wall and worrying about covering the overhead for the inventory. Like, we sell a lot of supplements and I just do it individually. But I don't like sitting here begging for people. Like, you can do it in a way that seems genuine and it's subconscious and it takes no effort or time away from you. And that's how we have it in the office. And that's what I love about our office.
And I'm going to type a banner in here. Something Matt and I live by, that I've said this for 23 years. So asking for referrals is an act of love and service. And if you enjoy serving and having referrals, and you just haven't found the way yet, that every way you've looked at is you feel cheesy or it doesn't feel good, I got to tell you, if you're watching this right now, you need to go to 56day Chiro Bootcamp .com/referrals and get my referrals cheat sheet. I literally walk you through how you can have a really strong referral practice and the 8 easy steps for referral. So really and truly what it's about is opening up a conversation and building a relationship, whereby as you build that relationship, it would be really quite selfish to not ask for a referral, when we use the lens of asking for referrals, is an act of love and service. We set the stage for our practice members and the people that we know to be excited about the opportunity to refer their friends and family into
Yeah.
our office. So Matt, what is your referral go to? Like, what do you guys do better than anyone else when it comes to referrals?
So I like it subconscious, so I don't have to think about it and seem like I'm begging. So the way we wrote it up is it's anywhere from like a 7 to 9 point system. Just right off the bat, as soon as you call our office, my CAs know exactly the verbiage and how to talk on the phone. And that's after we get their name down, that's one of the first questions we ask: who referred you to the office? Now, some get confused and think they need a referral, which, we remind them that we don't. We just like to thank the friends and family that refer people over, and we like to thank them. We write the name on the board and stuff like that. And then when they come in, we have it on the new patient paperwork, so they see it again. And then when they come in again, when they meet face to face with my CA, they ask them again as well. And they'll be like, "Oh, Jim sent you in. We love Jim. He's a great patient of ours." When they get back in the room with me, I go for their name, and then that right in that first page is who referred you, and I see it, and I make sure I address it. If it's Google, I'll still say it. Like, "I'm glad you found us online. Most of our patients are referred by others, but I'm glad you found your way here." It automatically puts in their head like they love referring people here, and people get surprised by that. So then, we always tell them we're going to make whoever proud who sent them in. We're going to take good care of you. And then we mentioned a couple of times on their second visit, like, "We're really happy Jim sent you in. We're going to take good care of you." And by that point, they already got his name up on the board, so they see that too, and they make that association. So usually by the second or third visit, people are already asking if they can take a new patient packet for their daughter or son or husband or something like that. And we don't even need to do it. We just hand it to them and get their appointment set up.
And it's um success always leaves clues.
Mm-hmm.
And if we just kind of hint at, "Hey, Jim, he's a really good guy, and it's really nice that he sent you here." That doesn't sound like a system or confidence or anything I want to replicate, right? As a practice member. And so it's really important. And for those of you who don't know, there are 4 requirements of a successful system. It must be measurable, reproducible, innovative, and we must eliminate discretion. So we're always even in hearing Matthew, you hear like, this is how they do it in their practice. Like, he's not having to think about it in the moment. It's, in the boot camp, I build badass chiropractors who are instinctively successful. They just know, like, oh, this is what happens on our first visit. This is what happens on our second visit. And it frees us up so that we're present time conscious. It's not a bunch of scripts, but here's the truth about scripts. Like, we're all running scripts all of the time.
Oh, you have to. Yeah.
Have a conversation with your spouse. "Hey, how was your day today?" Script. Right? Script. There are other things that we are always saying to certain people, and it's just because that's what we say. So it's the same thing in our practice. So Matthew, this is your third 90-day sprint?
Second.
Right? Your second?
Yeah,
so what can you share with everyone about, like, what's so cool about the boot camp and the 90-day sprint?
Well, I always love a challenge, so that's the biggest thing. So do my staff members; they love it too. Last year we did incredible. It really helped motivate us. We got a little bit, even on top of our online marketing, even better than we were. We try to get a bunch of Facebook Lives in, interactive with patients and stuff like that. So we found it very interactive at the office. We made it fun. We had competitions for it within the office for ourselves too. This year we're just catching up to par. Like, this is the first time we really had a rough first 2.5 weeks between weather and everyone getting sick in this area. And then even my staff members were out. So I was still trying to truck through, because like you always tell us, everything you need to do for the 90-day challenge is everything you should be doing for your office anyways. And it is. If you can't handle it, like, you're just missing a component. You're not marketing, not connecting with people. Most of it's coming from posts and Facebook Lives. And, the whiteboard topics are the biggest things, like keeping people interactive. And you should be doing that. So I wasn't as active on the bootcamp page, but I was still doing that in the office, getting everything rolling on top of everything else. And I actually think, despite it was rough to get all the points in that I hoped and I wanted to get, it still kept my mind centered through that rough patch of the first 2 weeks. I had a bunch of other things to do. I had to take care of all my assistants' work as well. But it kept me going and be like, what, we'll get through this real quick. It's just the first little hiccup we've ever had since we opened. And we're already back to normal now, seeing 50, almost 60 patients a day. So it's kind of like a nice relaxation, get catch up on work. But it kept me on track, which is really, really nice. So it means something different this year than last year, but it's still like super helpful.
Yeah. I I love that we can all count on the 90-day challenge at the beginning of the year, right? To wipe off the holiday cobwebs and really just like get reconnected and really dive into the systems that are always going to be there for us to have a successful practice, right? Like
Yep.
ask for referrals, Google reviews. It doesn't have to be elaborate social media marketing. I see so many people just like getting so weighed down with all of this like grittiness of social media. Like, here's what works, whatever you do consistently.
Oh yeah, it even helped us bonus structure wise for our assistants. We have them asking for referrals if you get so many Google reviews or referrals that way. We have a little extra bonus structure for them that way too. So they're super excited, and I hear them at the front a lot more asking for those things and recommending those things too.
Yeah,
So it helps in a lot of ways.
right? And then
Mm-hmm.
we've got the daily success sheet, so we know exactly what's going on. So if you're not in the boot camp, one of the cool things that we do in the boot camp is the 90-day sprint. It starts in January. It runs for 90 days. This year we have 5 teams, and I set up a point sheet. And the point sheet is really based on the things that we all need to be doing as foundational systems in our practice. And then this year, something different I've done is there are extra ways to get points. Like last week was be purposeful and mindful, and one of your priorities is the like to have peace of mind. And it's been really fun to hear like what a difference that focus has made. Like Dr. Ashley Quinn Nixon, she's also in my mindset masterclass. And last Tuesday, it was like a rough morning. And then she joined the masterclass. And before then, she'd spent all of this time because she lost her keys. Right. So finally she's like, all right, just forget it. I'll just grab my second pair, but I'm still going to be on the master class. And she got done with the master class, closed her computer, and wouldn't you know it, there are her keys by the front door on the table where they always were. Right. That when we quiet our thinking and we just tap into who we are at our core, our diamond, like we
Yep.
can actually even see a difference in our physical world.
Yep.
And it's so exciting to watch all of you just like really lean in and help each other and just kick it and practice. So great job to you. As we close this down, what words of encouragement can you add for I mean, obviously the boot camp is 86% women. It obviously is a community for men as well. So give a shout out to like our male boot campers and the men who don't have a community. And one of the things that I love about our tribe is that everyone helps each other. And, there's this thing called the male ego that I think sometimes makes it, maybe as a guy, a little bit more challenging to speak up and ask questions. And that's one of the cool things about being with all the chicks is that, there isn't maybe that alpha thing going on as much. Like, give a shout out to the dudes of what's it like being with all the chicks in the boot camp.
That's what actually came to mind is the whole ego thing when you get in the guys, and like a lot of people just lie about what's going on and intimidated, just more keep to themselves. But I grew up around women, same thing in my family with parents being divorced. My dad wasn't really in the picture. A bunch of my uncles were all the mess. So, I mean, I really was just surrounded by women since I was little. So they keep me grounded that way, so you don't have that alpha ego in the back of your head. So I love it off the bat. But it's not centered around like I never ever felt like I'm isolated with you guys at all. Like I never
Yeah.
feel like the only male I gotta get out of here because they all hate me. That's
Yeah.
not how it is. I know some people can think about that when they hear that it's 86% women, but that shouldn't bother you anyways. We're all in the same profession for the same purpose. I mean, it really doesn't matter.
And are we a group that just like sits around and sings Kumbaya?
No, not at all. I mean, you got to put the work into it, but it's super motivating. There's so many resources that you give us. I mean, and I've met so many people, helpful people since I've joined the boot camp too. Connections I never thought I'd make for all different reasons, things you won't even realize when you're in practice by yourself. You're confused about different things. You have questions about Medicare. Like we have multiple people in here that have huge assets to everybody too. So it's great to know everyone as well. Life is
Yeah.
all about connections, just like your office with your patients. You know what I mean? And that's what we
Yeah.
have, the whole little network.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such an incredible, it's kind of like before we moved to Alaska. I had a client that was in Homer, and I'm like, but what's it like there? And she's like, I don't know how to explain it to you. Like, you can't appreciate it until you're here. And the boot camp is the same way. Like, I don't know how to really describe the experience of boot camp. And many times, like, you just can't, and until you get in. So if you're someone who's watching now or watches this later, and you'd like to find out, like, well, I've heard a lot about this boot camp. What about, I don't know, is it for me? I don't know if it's for you, but I will offer you this. Like, we can jump on a Zoom call together. I've done almost 800 almost 800 one-on-one calls
Oh,
since
wow.
2017 with chiropractors and chiropractic students. And
That's good.
that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for
Um,
you.
and so if I haven't met you yet and you'd like to spend some time together getting to know one another, if I can help you, I'll tell you, and I'll lay out a plan of what that looks like. If I can't, I'll point you in a direction of somebody who can. There are lots of great places to call home within our profession, and maybe we're a fit and maybe we're not, but let's at least wise take that opportunity to know. So Matt, in final words, what do you want to say to everyone?
Well, I just want to thank you for having me on again. I love doing this with you. Just sharing my story helps me out, keeps me on track and motivated. But everyone comes from different backgrounds, kind of the biggest thing I want to get across. And we're all in the same boat, no matter where you started from. We all have the same purpose, so that you're not alone in anything. If you're one person that tends to shy away from reaching out to people, like, you have endless resources. Like, reach out, even if it's for a helping hand or just shoulder to cry on for anything or just a vent. Like, everyone is here to help you out, so it's worth
Yeah,
your while.
being alone is a choice,
It is.
and no one has to do that.
It doesn't help at all.
Yeah, for sure. It's life was never designed to be a solitary journey. We're pack animals. We're humans. That's how it works. So, Matt,
Agreed. Yeah.
thank you so much. I'm so proud of you and Jessica,
Thank
and
you.
I love how you just keep showing up and keep showing up and grow as leader and businessman. And I'm super proud of you. And thanks for allowing me to be on the journey with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.